Hi, we're the elementary ed group. Although this seems like a simple, short topic, there's a lot more to it. Um, Here we have a quick overview of what we'll be going over today. We have the market, demand and supply, predictions and outcomes. Then we have related opportunities and career advancement, along with our interview with the advisor. So the market. What do elementary teachers do? Um, Here we have like a quick description and duties of what an elementary ed teacher does. So basically, what we will be doing is we would instruct young students in basic subjects such as math and English and prepare them for more advanced schooling. So as like they get older and they climb up to higher grades. And with this, we follow a district-wide specific curriculum. So a lot of the stuff that are taught within schools is the same material taught in other schools. And some of the duties that teachers perform, we do teaching, so that comes along with lesson plans, our assessments, and we record how the students progress. And we communicate with other peers, such as other teachers and administrators, but we also communicate along with students and their parents. And from there, we have professional development, which is basically combining all of our ideas with other groups of teachers. And for our interactions and reporting, we do a lot of interactions with students, mostly kids from grades 1 through 6 in most states, and sometimes in middle school, which is 6 through 8 in other states. We also interact with parents. We let them know how their students are doing, if there's any behavior issues or any other issues with learning in class. We also interact with other teachers. We share ideas of lesson plans and we advise our administrators if there's any ongoing problems with students or with the curriculum. With reporting, we report to admins such as principals, assistant principals, our superintendents, and department chairs of like the test scores, any behavior issues, or anything we notice within students. And a lot of those reports go to the state to show how the school is performing on the based on the curriculum, given if there should be any changes or if they should keep the same one or add more.
Okay, so it's also important to note some of the differences between public school teachers and private school teachers. So, public school teachers, they are often accredited. Private school teachers do not have to be accredited because they do not report to the state. The state is not in charge of private school teachers. So, they do not have to follow state adopted standards or state approved curriculum. Students that attend private schools also do not have to complete state mandated testing, like the MAP test in Missouri. The teachers in private schools do not necessarily need certification because they don't have like the state standards. And many of like private schools do not have funding for programs that support like special education or related services. So this means that they may not have those programs and they can turn students away. All right, so now we're going to be talking about demand and supply. So first of all, with demand, according to the U.S. Department of Education, all students in the United States are entitled to equal access to a basic public elementary and secondary education. So the lower limit to this is normally 5 to 7. So kids have to start going to school at 5 or 7, and then it's compulsory until ages 16 to 18, and that's depending on the state, and that's also depending on some factors such as religion and stuff like that. Missouri requires attendance until 18 or the completion of 16 credits toward a high school diploma. So the amount of teachers also varies between state, cities, and school districts, and this is just because different states employ different amounts of teachers, different school districts employ different amount of teachers. Also, depending on like the school district, they only have a certain amount of kids coming in. So if they have a lower amount of kids, that's going to require less teachers. Larger class sizes is going to require more teachers. Also, funding has a big part in the demand of teachers. So approximately 92% of public education is funded by the state and local revenue, and this includes things like property tax, income revenue, interest income, rental revenues, and then parcel tax and donations. And then approximately 8% of public education is funded by federal programs. And those are the programs that support special education and title programs. The supply side of this, so there are a lot of desired qualifications for public school teachers. So that's a bachelor's degree in elementary education. For example, in Missouri, to get a bachelor's degree in elementary education, you have to have a certain GPA in areas. So like in a content area, it's 3.0. A professional education courses, you can't have a grade lower than a C. There are also alternative routes to become a teacher. So some teachers, especially with the teacher shortage that's happening, which our advisor talked a lot about, a lot of schools are hiring teachers that have a master's degree in something else. So, for example, if they have a degree in biology and then they get their master's in education, a lot of schools are hiring those kinds of teachers. Also, a lot of public schools require teachers to pass state licensing and certification, pass exams. A lot of states require the praxis exam. Missouri requires teachers to complete the MOCA and the MOGIA exam. A lot of schools require a student teaching program, and every state requires a background check, like a criminal background check, for teachers. But a lot of times these are just desired qualifications, especially with um, the teacher shortage. We're hiring more and more of just like teachers that are still in school, teachers that have a degree in something else, teachers that aren't necessarily don't have training in the classroom. It's becoming more not rare to hire teachers. So skill sets for teachers. Teachers are required to have knowledge in the English language. Some school districts require knowledge in ASL or Spanish or French or a different language. They should know mathematics, science, social studies, computers and other electronics, psychology, education and training, therapy and counseling, public safety, some certain skills in instructing, learning strategies, critical thinking, speaking and active listening, reading and writing, comprehension, time management, judgment and decision making, social perceptiveness. Also, elementary education teachers oftentimes act as caregivers. A lot of lower elementary schools, they're cleaning up accidents. They're making 100 different decisions at one time. Some work styles that are good for teachers are stress tolerance, adaptability and flexibility, initiative, independence, patience, self-control, dependability, integrity, concern for others. I'll talk about this more later, but our advisor, Mr. Gleeson, talked a lot about how if you're not flexible, you are probably not going to be an effective teacher.
All right, now we're going to talk about predictions and outcomes. Some of the predictions is that there always, always, always will be a need for teachers because school is mandated throughout the entire country. The medium wage for this would be like 63K annually, and employment currently we have around 1.4 million employees, but in Missouri alone we only have almost 20K employees in education. The projected growth within the next 10 years, it's unfortunately declining 1% or lower. But in Missouri, we have a 6% increase. And for projected job openings for the next 10 years, it's 93 grand openings will be open in the entire country, but in Missouri alone, it will be 1.5. For demographic composition, predominantly would be middle-aged, white, and female. Right now, we have around almost 80% female and 20% male, and this is dated back in 2022. And right now, the for ethnicity, it's 80% white, 9% Hispanic, 6% Black, and 2% multiracial. And these age ranges, like right now, is from 35 to 39, 40 to 44, 45 to 49. And those are the largest groups. So we have older people who are in elementary education right now. Some related opportunities and career advancements that we have instructional coordinator, technical writer, HR specialist, academic advisor, post-secondary administrator, project manager, educational technologist, career counselor, school counselor, librarians, teacher assistants, tutors, ESL teachers, special education teachers, and paraprofessionals. Now, some of these are a lot of people that you see now, like every single day at your school, but a lot of them you tend to see like in the background behind a lot of what happens behind the schools. Um, and some career advancements that we have is instructional coordinators, assistant principals. We have our principals and superintendents. And some of these positions actually require additional schooling. So most likely, like a principal, you probably have to go to some sort of class or follow along some sort of plan in order to become a principal.
All right, and then we're gonna go over just some things that we talked about with in our interview with our advisor. So, Mr. William Gleeson, he had experience as an administrator and as a teacher in public and private education. So he really helped us with the public versus private part. And then he also said that we're just in a hurt for teachers right now, because the pay is very low, and it's even lower in private schools because they're not getting that public funding. There's a very high turnover rate right now, which is why in the next few years we're going to see a lot of job openings, because a lot of teachers are either quitting or retiring. So it's not necessarily new jobs that are opening, it's just people are leaving the job. And then there's also that high turnover rate is also because of the influx of behavioral issues that are being seen in schools. We're seeing more kids needing uh, ESL things. We're seeing more attention needed. We're seeing more in special education. We're just seeing more of an influx in behavior and just special education. And then he also emphasized that it takes a special person to become a teacher. And so he really recommends, like, if you're a college student and you're wanting to become a teacher, he really recommends going and getting a degree in elementary education, not taking that alternative route, because it requires a lot of training and experience to become a teacher. If you don't have experience in the classroom, you're not going to have as much of an impact on the kids' lives. Like, it's not going to be effective. But like he said, if you're a college student and you want to go into elementary education, your best bet is to get a degree in elementary education. But if you decide to get a degree in business, you can always get a master's degree in education. And he also emphasized that it takes a certain personality. If individuals have a low emotional intelligence or a short temper or are inflexible and impatient, the job just isn't for them. It takes a special person to be a teacher, and we need more teachers. So you should consider a career in elementary education.